After a series of videos about the Little Nightmares games, we finally have Little Nightmares 2. If you're new to the game and don't know much about the previous installments, I highly suggest you to check out my previous videos to stay up to date on what the lore of this game is and who the characters are. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator, and here is Little Nightmares 2 story explained. Before we get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and beware, as there will be spoilers ahead. Little Nightmares 2 is a sequel to the first Little Nightmares, where our previous protagonist 6 teams up with our new protagonist Mono, whom we take control of in a third-person perspective in a side-scroller platformer style. The art style, soundtrack, and visuals are impeccable, and there's a very intriguing yet cryptic story which we're going to dive deep in today. Mono, our protagonist, wakes up from a dream where he sees a door with the familiar eye symbol on it at the end of a claustrophobic corridor. When Mono wakes up, there's a TV behind him on statics, which turns off soon after he wakes up, which already gives us a hint of what is about to happen further down in the game. As Mono traverses through the woods, or in Little Nightmares terms, the wilderness, he passes a pile of dead, larger-sized bodies suspended in a trap. It's the first time in the Little Nightmares world where we see large entities being dead or hunted, apart from the Hanging Man in Little Nightmares 1, who had killed himself. This also indicates that there are going to be traps around, which Mono should be careful of, and that there is a hunter who has laid them around. After evading some traps, Mono reaches a menacing house with cages lying at the front. When Mono enters the house through the kitchen, the kettle is seen at the back having steam coming out of it, suggesting that someone is in the house right now. Mono explores the house and stumbles upon an imprisoned child who turns out to be 6. Mono grabs an axe and frees a music box wielding 6. Mono offers his hand to 6, but an anxious 6 runs away. In the main hall, we are presented by bags of cotton, sewing threads, and a sewing machine which is associated with the hunter. In the dining room, we get a look of a taxidermied family. Does this suggest that whoever lives in this house feels lonely and wants to create a family for himself? Mono, after following 6, gets signaled by her to help her drop down the attic's ladder. Both Mono and 6 proceed to leave the house through the backyard, where they come across a room with what seem to be human skins hanging up, where a face bag wearing antagonist is busy stitching something up, presumably doing taxidermy. Mono and 6 sneak behind this man and exit through the dog door, which alerts this antagonist. This raises the question if there will be dogs present, or the very least, if dogs had lived here before. The hunter sets on chasing after them with his shotgun, which he uses continuously. Soon after, the hunter corners them in a workshop, where a loaded double barrel is put on a wall. Mono and 6 use it and shoot the hunter through the door, presumably killing him. Subsequently, they find a broken door which they use to sail across the water into the Pale City, which welcomes them with a sight of warped buildings. The city is now only a shadow of what it presumably used to be, with clothes of people lying around in different places and no sight of any life apart from crows. The first building contains a full outfit hanging through a broken TV. The second place, which seems to be a diner, has also full outfits lying on the chairs. Then soon later, Mono and 6 enter the guest house, or what it used to be, where another full-on outfit is hanging on a rope noose from the collar, indicating that this person killed himself before disappearing out of his clothes. Mono then enters an empty room, which is filled with only a TV. As soon as Mono sets foot in the room, the TV turns on statics and projects a strong transmission, seemingly trying to evaporate Mono as black ash rises from him. Mono closes his eyes and resists the TV transmission and touches the screen, which he uses to manipulate, which makes him end up in a warped corridor with a door at the end with the eye symbol which Mono dreamt of in the beginning of the game. Mono runs towards the door, trying to bypass a powerful invisible energy, at which point 6 pulls him out. Traveling further into the city, Mono and 6 enter the school. They get ambushed by the porcelain children, the bullies, who trap Mono and kidnap 6. Mono reaches the classroom where the bullies are seated on desks in the presence of the teacher, whose neck overstretches. Soon later, Mono destroys some other bullies, where he uses one of the bullies' broken face to use as a mask to infiltrate deeper into the school. He enters the canteen with all the bullies acting strangely strangely, whose presence only casts a shadow of what real children used to be like. Mono manages to find 6 and free her, yet again from being suspended by 2 bullies. Mono and 6 exit the school, escaping from the teacher. We get another glimpse of the city, which seems to have been split in half, with the buildings being warped inwards. Later on, Mono picks up a paper boat, where a transmission appears of a figure miming eating something. Could this be the casted transmission of 6 when she ate the gnome? In a room filled with cargoes, parcels, and luggage having pictures of gnomes on them, Mono finds the signature yellow raincoat associated with 6 and points towards it for 6 to wear it as it's raining. 6 seems indifferent towards it, as if she's never had worn it before. This gives rise to many questions, but we'll discuss this part in the later videos. Traversing further into the city, they come across the hospital and go through it. Mono finds a flashlight which will become quite handy soon enough. Instead of real people, mannequins are present in this hospital with different parts attached to them, like the Frankenstein's monster. These mannequins are similar to the bubble nurses in Silent Hill, which react to light. Except these mannequin patients come alive when it's dark and stay in their place in presence of light. Later on, we encounter the doctor with the opposite center of gravity as he crawls on the ceiling. He is the person behind making these mannequins come alive. Soon after, we witness the casted shadow of a patient behind the bed curtain with life support on, which seems as if the doctor is experimenting to see if he can actually make dead bodies come alive. This patient, unlike the mannequins, had a heart ECG monitor and was exposed to light, meaning it's an actual person rather than a mannequin. Mono and 6 manage to trap the doctor in an incinerator after a tense chase and set him ablaze, presumably killing him. After leaving the hospital, we get introduced to the viewers with deformed faces who keep falling down from the buildings. The first viewer we encounter runs towards a TV and smashes his head against the screen, breaking it and possibly killing himself. Encountering more viewers, they seem to be controlled by the TV and attracted to wherever a TV is. Mono has another face-off with a TV having statics on. This time, however, he manages to open the door where a mysterious man is seated. When he encounters Mono, he stands before 6, pulls Mono out of the TV again. This mysterious thin man comes out of the TV and kidnaps 6, leaving a transmissional shadow figure of 6 behind. Mono gets back into the TV room, and by touching the TV, he teleports through the transmission, where a mysterious monster, which seems to be the embodiment of the eye symbol, resides. This further suggests to how Mono got in the wilderness in the beginning of the game, as a TV with statics was on behind him. But what is interesting is that Mono seems to have just learned about his TV teleportation abilities. How did he manage to teleport in the beginning of the game? Mono uses his newly mastered abilities, traveling further through the city, where he reaches a building full of litters and luggage, which again has the drawing of a gnome. Mono then witnesses a spectacle of the falling viewers who are standing on the ledge of a building, staring at the radio tower. These viewers are attracted by the TV signal and follow it wherever it is, hence why they drop off the roof as they want to get closer to the signal without much thought. After escaping from the viewers, 6 finds a TV where 6 is stuck in. Mono tries to pull her out, but the thin man pulls her back in again. Then the thin man himself comes out of the TV and sets on chasing after Mono. After escaping the thin man using a train, Mono witnesses shadow transmission figures of 6, guiding Mono to where 6 might be. This leads Mono to the main street from the sewers, which leads to the radio tower in a straight line. Then the thin man appears in front of Mono, which causes the buildings to bend back and forth. Mono takes his paper bag mask off and faces the thin man, showcasing his transmissional abilities. After defeating the thin man, Mono pushes the side buildings aside and brings the radio tower closer to himself using his powers. The door opens with a purple light on. Mono enters a building where household items are floating in the air. The laws of physics seem to be broken here as Mono teleports to the same room when trying to leave the room through another door. This place is riddled by staircases. Some doors are rolled up like paper. Mono sees himself appear from different doors when exiting through another door. Mono manages to go up and finds a monstrous 6 with disproportionately long limbs in a room similar to the first room she woke up in Little Nightmares 1, with a suitcase and a music box. Mono hits the music box with a sledgehammer, which makes him teleport into a parallel reality. He uses an axe and breaks a door in this reality, leading him to the monstrous 6, protecting her music box. After hitting the music box constantly, Mono teleports into another realm with a weakened monster 6, protecting the music box again. After destroying the music box, Mono gets back to her original shape, and the eye Mono witnessed through his first TV transmission teleportation appears again. The eye starts engulfing this reality, which makes Mono and 6 run away. On a breaking thin bridge leading to a TV transmission, 6 manages to get to the other side, with Mono jumping into the ledge with 6 holding his arm. This quickly changes into a dramatic turn of events, resembling the iconic Lion King scene. 6 pulls her hand up, letting Mono fall while she walks into the TV transmission. Mono falls into the depth of this monster, leading to a chair surrounded by the eyes. Mono sits on the chair, and with a time lapse, we see Mono grow into a full-sized person and finally into the Thin Man himself. In the post-credit scene, we see the raincoat-wearing 6 looking at her shadow figure, then at a picture of the Ma, while her casted shadow resembles a gnome, with the scene ending with her tummy rumbling. To put this simply, mind blown. We are left on a cliffhanger here, with a lot of possibilities of what the ending means. I'm planning to make a second video explaining the ending and going over some possible theories, so make sure to stay tuned. And that about does it for this video, folks. What are your thoughts about the ending? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell for the ending explained. I've been your host R, and till the next video, have a fantastic day.